So, Elliot,
Hello.
what if, right, you decided that you were going to make some new rules that were going to change everything about the way that the game you love is played. However, you weren't going to test these rules in the slightest and you were just going to let it completely fuck up the ecosystem of the game. What would you do in response to that?
Absolutely nothing. I would never fix it. I would just let the game die.
Well, fortunately, you aren't running things around here, and Valve have actually done something because they've made some changes to the VRS system. As a quick overview, there was an issue around Katowice where prize money was only counting when a team was eliminated.
Right.
So because of that, Gamer Legion missed out on an invite to Blast Open, which is great and completely makes sense that it should work like that, of course. Well done, Valve. That's now been fixed. That's gone. In another completely obvious change that is ridiculous, it was never in place in the first place, forfeits now count as losses, because obviously Imperial, their women's team, were completely just abusing that and just forfeiting games left, right, and centre. I again don't know why that wasn't a thing anyway.
Yeah. So I'd like to call this the FIFA rule, because for years and years and years in FIFA, if somebody quit at 0-0, no matter what, the game doesn't count. So you don't get a win. They get a loss, but you don't get a win. So people, if you didn't like the person you were playing against, which when playing FIFA, as you know, you get very angry, so you don't like anyone, and they get a penalty or you have a man sent off, you just quit. You get the loss anyway, but they don't get a win. So I'm going to call this the FIFA rule because they've only fixed that this year.
I mean,
ridiculous.
It's just stupid. I'll get to my thoughts on it all in a minute. And the last one is that you now need five games to get ranked. So half the shit that's been happening with Nip playing with Jax maybe would have had to happen for less time or wouldn't have happened. I don't really know. I don't really care.
Yeah, it's one of those things where just reading the rules doesn't help you understand the loopholes and understand. We need to see it play out for a month and then we'll figure out the flaws in it. Which is kind of the problem in the first place, is that you needed time to figure out if this was going to work.
No, I get that, right. But did no one at Valve think for a second, what if in the background for last year, they just ran the rules on their own basis, and just ran how things would be differently? Did no one at Valve think to do that? No one at Valve think maybe they should test it before it's actually active?
Well, so maybe they did, but teams weren't actively abusing forfeits because they didn't know this was being tested.
Yeah, so that one might have slipped by, and maybe the 5 games to get ranked. But can you not, look at these things and figure it out after about 10 minutes when orgs are clearly doing it? And things like the Gamer Legion thing, which is just absurd. It should obviously never happen. If they're going to win a minimum amount more than the team that's now being counted, do you not see that to be an issue?
I guess not. I mean, I hated this model anyway. I don't like the way it works, and the flaws that come up are flaws that everyone could see coming. But people are obsessed with the idea of always having the best 30 teams and always having the best 24 teams at an event, and it's just, A, it makes them more boring, and B, there's going to be loopholes like this.
Do you know what the thing is, though, right? If we're going to have 24 teams at an event, I'm fine with it being the best 24 teams. But the problem is that the best 24 teams are incredibly rarely the best 24 teams on any ranking system.
Yeah.
This NIP team, right? Give them a month, now they're not playing with Jax, and they're both practicing as their 5 and playing as their 5. They could be the 15th best team in the world, but who'll know?
Yeah.
I was speaking to Snappy about it the other day, what are the hopes for the year? And Snappy, if you're watching that, I really hope you don't mind me saying this. But he just said, and there's tons of speculation about it on Twitter, and he said it himself, the hopes for the Austin Major are so slim that it's basically not even worth thinking about.
Yeah, it's a see. But these are problems that were entirely foreseeable. Like, yeah, let's create a system where we only ever invite the same 24 teams until they do really badly, and then we invite the next team along. How are you ever going to cycle out bad teams? How are you going to cycle in new teams that are doing well? There's no system in place to do this. Open qualifiers allows you to do this because if you did well in an open qualifier, you qualify to an event, then you get to play against teams that you might be better than. And if you do well, you get invited again. If you're going to have 2014 tournaments, invite the top 8 or the top 12 from VRS. I have no problem with that. Everything else should be open or at least closed qualifiers and just be a bit more like invite wildcard teams, invite these because we don't know if they're good or bad. Like I mean, all the talk about Imperial, whatever, like Imperial female, whatever, but we could be pretty sure they were bad. We didn't know they couldn't play at this level until we actually saw them at this level. Now we know they can't. We didn't know Bad News Eagles. Bad News Eagles are a perfect example, actually, because they weren't even that good at Tier 2. They were wildly inconsistent. But then everyone's wildly inconsistent in Tier 2 because you play against teams like Bad News Eagles every week. It's like the team who's like the 20th best in the world changes like every week. But the VRS system has such a delay in it that you're never going to find this out. There's always been my problem with seeding as well, is that reputation and rankings and stuff like that takes so long to actually change to how a team is playing that the only fair way to figure out if a team is any good is for them to play against other teams. It's the only way.
The other thing that annoys me as well is just the wildcard rule in itself. Like, why does the wildcard rule have so many specifics to it? Of like, oh, you've got to.
That's not a wildcard.
Done this or like, fuck off. If a org hosts an event in whatever country, like say Sweden, and they want to have one of the big fucking Swedish teams that are no longer Swedish, and they want Nip or Fnatic, they should just be able to fucking invite them.
Or if they just want a team that's got Flusher on it, for example, they should just be allowed to do that.
No, exactly. They should just be allowed to invite whoever they want.
Yeah. Nothing says a wild card invite like it being heavily reduced down to like 2 teams. That's not a wild card. A wild card invite should be you can pick whoever you want for whatever reason you want.
Played in the final for an event. So don't worry, lads. The winners of Epic Land can play at Cologne. Fuck off.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want, you should be able to invite a team from Epic Land if you want.
Yeah, if you want to. But the fact that they only can because they won Epic Land, it's just insane.
Yeah. Like, if I was running an event, I would be inviting BC Game, or I'd be inviting, like, Lin Vision, Atox, teams like this. Like, NIP are great, like, they'd be a great one to invite. Passion UA, or Passion UA actually any good? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's invite them to a fucking event and find out.
Because of the major run, you probably get a bit of a viewer boost from Passion UA, because Ukrainians have always been like very reliable for giving you viewer boosts. It's why if you look at the most viewed games in CS, all Na'Vi games, literally every single one of them, apart from I'd imagine like FaZe Cloud9 Boston.
Yeah, that'd be up there. But then
I'm willing
that was
to
a time zone thing as well.
I'm willing to bet without looking that would be the only game in the top 10 that doesn't involve Na'Vi.
Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, go on. Have a quick look. But I'm willing to bet. Oh, maybe the Paris final, actually.
Oh, yeah, Paris final's 4th. The other top 4 are all Na'Vi games.
But I forgot the Paris final was so well viewed. But yeah, because if I remember right, the Paris playoffs overall might have suffered because Na'Vi weren't there. And that is a thing that you can see at like every other event, is like if Na'Vi's not there, viewerships go down.
Yeah, if you the top match by peak viewer is G2 versus Na'Vi in Stockholm. That was the first major after COVID, and it had 2.7 million viewers.
It's quite a lot, isn't it?
That is mad. Yeah, that is insane.
That is quite a lot. But anyway, VRS is shite. let's move on. Let's talk about games that actually happened and have affected VRS because there was absolutely fucking no one good at the event. Let's talk about the Cluj playoff, shall we? Very strange mix of teams in the playoffs. Still not quite sure how that happened.
In theory, it's quite a fun tournament because it's all the teams who aren't quite good enough and you get a chance. But what's disappointing for me, as somebody who likes both these teams, is that both Eternal Fire and MongolZ went out in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, so they actually did crap.
You're supposed to be the next ones up. Like, this is... If we're going to, like, back this horse, which, you know, I've really tried to. One of those who has to be winning this event.
I'm gonna back them either way. Like, I'm still gonna do it.
Yeah, but like they should be winning this event. One of those two should be winning this event, and the fact they didn't, the fact they both lost in the quarterfinals, made the event so much less interesting.
But you know what though? Like, I get what you're saying, but I think you can apply the same to MOUZ and Falcons. The difference is that we just prefer Eternal Fire and MongolZ. Falcons are also in that bracket of like, you are the next ones up. Falcons should be. They have fucking Nico.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's fair.
MOUZ, we've been towing the same line for what, 18 months?
Yes, but
like,
I think it's fair to say nearly everyone's expectations of MOUZ were lower than that of MongolZ or Eternal Fire. Like Eternal Fire and MongolZ, for most people, like
for this event, sure,
they make up the top
not
six.
Normally. If they hadn't booted Shuey, then we'd all be saying this should be MOUZ's first arena.
But they have booted Sui. So
yes, okay. I mean, we'll talk about it more when we get there. But they did add a lot of firepower in Spinks, and that did show.
Of course,
across the tournament. But let's start with the quarterfinals because they played a pretty close game against Pain. I have nothing to say about it. I'm going to be really honest. I have nothing to say about this game. Like, it was a close 2-0. I feel like that's all you can expect from MOUZ versus Pain in an arena game.
It's what you expect from Pain in any arena game against anyone. They are generally
they're not
good enough.
Rolled.
They're good enough to finish in the top 12 in an event, but they will never win a quarterfinal, unfortunately. Yeah. They just don't have the sauce.
They could play like Liquid or someone. Liquid are prone to just losing a stupid game like that.
I think Liquid in an arena beat Pain 9 times out of 10, to be honest.
Maybe this one, but I have watched Liquid lose to Movistar Riders in an arena, so...
Like, I the more I think about it, the less confident I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Lose to Liquid in a quarterfinal, but exactly. I just don't ever trust Pain to go above and beyond. Like they'll sometimes go one step above what you expect, but they're never going to do anything crazy.
Yeah, so
that's always mine. So
after that, right, we had what I'm gonna classify this as the weirdest game, right? But it's nothing to do with the fact that the MongolZ might be playoff bottlers, which they might be. Very solid chance that they might be.
Senzu is a playoff bottler at the moment.
Yeah. But this is the weirdest game because literally the day before, Astralis got absolutely pumped by Heroic.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? It was the
16-2, 16-3, I think, or 16-1.
Yeah, because it was
13.
26-5 was what we had in the graphic for the newsletter.
Yeah.
And then they go out and they just 2-0 the MongolZ, who were a much...
Oh, like, they beat them on Mirage. MongolZ don't lose Mirage. They're really good at Mirage.
Yeah. And they beat them 13-8.
Yeah, it's
like Inferno was the game that went to overtime. And I just don't know how to feel.
Shout out overtime on Inferno.
Shut up. I don't know how to feel off the back of this game and what Astralis did in this tournament because we think they're rubbish, right? Like,
yeah, most of the time they are.
We do, but when you look at their team and what they've achieved, like in the past few years, you do feel like something like this should be possible in a field like this, but then it happens and it just feels a bit wrong.
But I think it would make a lot more sense if it was off the back of like Device dropping a 1.6 or stavn like doing something on stage. But it was actually
Right,
Yabby.
that's an impossibility. stavn doesn't do things on stage.
Yeah, I know, but that's how they would beat. I mean, against the Mongols. Like, against,
but Yabby's always been the better player out of him and stavn.
Yes, but he's
just
hasn't
been
done
quiet
this
for a long time.
Yeah, he hasn't done this for a while, which is like he's either like refound some form, and maybe they're going to get the Yabby they signed, or this was like a one-off, and we're probably not going to see that again. My gut says it's the latter, but
do you know what the thing that gets me about Astralis though, man? Like you still see it, like Yabby says it in interviews, stavn says it in interviews where it's like, oh, in CS2 you just have to swing, you've just got to peak, and we don't do that enough. And it's like, okay, but you say this, but then someone like Maui Snake will be out there and be like, well, Cadian's system should be perfect for CS2. It should be empowered by CS2 because that was very aggressive. That was. So why aren't you fucking doing it? Are you just too Danish? Like,
it's weird, but the Cadian...
is there something ingrained in the Danes where they just have to play a bit too sensibly?
But Heroic didn't. So
I know,
maybe it's Device.
Maybe it is.
Maybe Device doesn't want to do it because he's not.
Let's not blame Device for everything. Let's blame Stare.
No, because Stare's got a whiff of soldier about him. Like Stare seems like the kind of guy who does what he's told.
Yeah, probably.
That's just my.
But
I think that's why Astralis liked him in the first place.
I just don't get it though, and I do feel like I think it will probably take them all year to come to a decision. But if we don't see Astralis win anything this year or get as close to winning anything again as they did in this event, this is the last year of Danish Astralis.
Ooh.
I think. Like, a full Danish Astralis. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if they were like, oh, well, we speak English really well, so we'll just get one player from a different country. Like, because you can't keep doing it forever, because the only real alternative to stavn is BlameF. There isn't really any... many other alternatives out there.
It's just weird to talk about.
Unless, like, Tesses loses his place, or, like, they want to pull Shush from somewhere. But these, like, Tesses, okay, might turn things around for Astralis, because he's really developed as a player. And as much as we'll sing the praises of Bro and think he wasn't... He maybe deserved to be... He ain't gonna turn him around just because he's playing well in NA. Like, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. I was just looking at the top Danish teams.
Shush won't either, so who? Where can they turn? In Denmark?
Not to go all Harry, but Altex will fix it.
But he's not going to, though, is the point. Like, he's not the right type of player to fix.
No.
It's
weird looking through the Danish teams, and there's Astralis are the top Danish team, and the second one is Sashi. Like,
yeah.
It's like, weird. Like, this is
Danish
not... This
CS is completely gone the way of...
The Dodo.
Like, France and Sweden and Poland.
And CSGO.
And CSGO. But yeah, I think Astralis is the hardest team... Well, and MOUZ, really, to quantify from this event. And also to fix, in the case of Astralis. But I'm sure we'll circle back to that later.
I just can't see them not being full Danish. I can't see... I know it's the only way to make it better, but I just can't see it happening. Their whole identity...
I think at some point you've just got to accept it, though. Is the problem.
Well, I have accepted it. I don't think they will.
Maybe.
I just don't think they will. Like, I think their whole identity is wrapped up in being the best team in Denmark.
It is, but... You can be the best team in Denmark and have 3 Danish players.
Yeah,
because there ain't no competition. The second best team is fucking Sashi.
Yeah, I know, I get that, but I do think I'd be surprised.
Well, we'll see. Let's move on anyway. Let's talk about Falcons Eternal Fire. Falcons finally get a win over Eternal Fire. I actually feel like they beat them before that, but.
Yeah. Falcons are good. Like, they are just a good team.
Yeah, they are, and that's the point, right? Eternal Fire, they might also be a bit shit in playoffs.
Yeah, that's more my concern. It's like, yes, losing to Falcons on paper is fine, but Eternal Fire, you need to start getting some wins in these.
That's our concern.
Arenas.
That's our concern because we like Eternal Fire, right?
Yeah.
But if we look at this on an objective level, on a long-term basis, 6 months, a year, whatever, if all 10 players on the two teams remain the same, which team do you expect to be better?
By what metric?
Winning more games, going deeper in runs, in tournaments?
Deeper in tournament. I think Falcons are more likely to win an event, but I think Eternal Fire might have a more consistent level.
Okay, fine. Fine.
I would therefore say Falcons are the better team because I think,
yeah, exactly. So like Falcons beating Eternal Fire here, like it doesn't make me concerned for Eternal Fire because I just think, regardless of how good Xantares is, we know what we said about Wicadia. Woxic is what Woxic is. Like occasionally he's just gonna fry, but really he's gonna play at a nice, consistent level. Jota is an improvement on Calix, but he isn't like...
He's not a superstar, no.
And Major, to agree with Thorin, I don't think he's as bad as Thorin thinks he is, but he's on the lower end of the IGLs for the top teams.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Major deserves quite a lot of credit, to be honest.
Yeah, no,
team consistently in the top.
No, but maybe I worded that wrong, right? I don't think.
No, I know what you're saying.
I don't think Major's bad, but I think
he's definitely not an S tier in-game leader.
Yeah, I think Thorin's just going too far on what could be a valid point.
Yeah, that's what I like to call the Alex Jones.
But I'm just not concerned. Like, it's sad, it's annoying. This was a great opportunity for Eternal Fire, but I just feel like it's what's meant to happen in a game like this.
It's what's meant to happen in a few months. Right now, Eternal Fire is supposed to be riding the high and a bit better. Falcons are supposed to be like on.
Maybe, but Falcons are like making strides.
They are good. I like that's not why. My problem isn't that I don't think Falcons are good. It's like if I'm like I had Eternal Fire as like the 5th or 6th best team in the world, and the top 4 aren't here. Like you know this, you shouldn't be going out in quarters.
Yeah, but just as easily, Eternal Fire could have faced Pain or Saw, and then they're at least in semi-finals.
Yeah,
it's in that case, I think it's just luck of the draw.
I guess my issue is more with the Mongols for losing to Astralis, but
and the thing is Falcons, Eternal Fire have faced each other quite a few times this year already. So
yeah, and Xantares destroyed them the one time.
So if there's any team that Falcons are going to be feeling the most confidence against, it's probably Eternal Fire.
Yeah, it just makes me sad, that's all.
FaZe Saw, moving on.
Yeah, I mean, should we talk about Saw signed 2 players, haven't they? So this was
let's circle back round to their signings. But yeah, it was a completely dead team. I'm really happy for the Saw guys that they got to play in an arena because, bless him, SHR ain't getting anywhere near that again, and I imagine Roman won't be either, but he did have Cologne. Likeable team. Shame it happened. Moving on. Semi-finals. Actually pretty good game between MOUZ and Astralis.
Yeah, I just find it hard to care.
But
because it feels
MOUZ should not have been in that final. Do you know what the score was on map 1? Did you watch it?
I didn't watch the first map. No, 16-14.
Oh,
it was one where it was 12-4, wasn't it?
Yeah. Map, and let's say, just for the sake of it, that map 2 goes the way it did. MOUZ should have been nowhere near that final.
No, but it turns out that Brollan is an excellent IGL, and they won 80 rounds in a row, and it's all good, isn't it?
Yeah, genuinely, right. Let's do this now. I'm sorry, Brollan. Like
I'm not sorry yet.
Okay, look, we don't know the consistent level. We don't know how you'll do when there's real teams at an event.
Yeah, that's more the point.
But based on this, you're going to do about the same as the previous MOUZ did.
Yeah,
and you didn't let your team down at all, which we were both expecting you to. So, fair play, mate. I hope this goes well for you.
Look, I hope you keep getting events where you get to playoffs and play against Pain and fucking Astralis. stavn, again, completely shit the bed on stage. Absolute waste of time.
He's fucking awful, isn't he? Like, I'm so sick of that prick.
He's just not good on stage. I'm sorry. He just sucks on stage. He just bottom frags. Or just
I just
doesn't put up star performances when he's supposed to. And the way he plays should make him his floor should be really high because he plays quite a safe way. It's not like when Yakinda or Patsy was shit on stage, or Exertion even. When they're shit on stage, you're like, okay, in their defense, they are really aggressive. And those players are harder to get off on stage. You really feel it's a really hit or miss play style. You're playing against better teams, it's going to be more likely to miss. I have some problems with it, but I have some sympathy. The way stavn plays, he shouldn't be prone to minus 20 scorelines because he should just collect the easy kill. If he went -4, it would still be pretty bad. That's still a bad showing for him. But that should be his flaw.
With stavn's spots and positions and how things are set up for stavn, there is actually no fucking excuse unless they get smacked. But in a series like this, where it's 16-14, 13-8, 13-5. Okay, maybe because of the ancient, fine. But this guy had a fucking 0.78 rating across the series, has gone -20. Right, everyone's negative, so okay. We'll allow you to go -2, -4. But even then, you should never, ever be that negative in all the spots you get, man. You're a fucking bum. Get the fuck out and go play for Sashi. Bring Blame F back. I'm not even joking, right? Especially because it'll frustrate the fuck out of you and that'll bring me joy. Bring Blame F back. This is a 10 times better team with Blame F.
It's better. Yeah, it is better. I think
10 times might have been a bit.
I think they'd more reliably beat bad teams. I think they would still lose to decent teams. But I mean, that is an improvement for Astralis, so.
Oh yeah, look, I don't think they're instantly
It's really weird to talk this harshly about a team who lost a semi-final, but
I don't think Blame F would instantly take them up a tier, but I think it would give them the potential to go up a tier.
Yeah,
and that's on the basis that I don't know what tier I'd put Astralis in.
My issue with Blame F is that he's not good enough to be a superstar on a genuinely good team. He's good enough to be a superstar on this team.
Well, because the thing is as well with Astralis, right? We're talking about the tiers there. So we've agreed in the past, Na'Vi, Vitality, Spirit, they are the S tier, right?
Yeah.
Which someone on Twitter a couple of weeks ago wrongly stated that we meant that they're the only tier 1 teams, which is a stupid conflation. Very different.
No, I mean, I think that is what tier 1 is, but fine.
No, tier 1's slightly bigger than that.
That's why I don't like when people say tier 1, because it's
the concept of tier 2 is ridiculous, because you'll get you'll get dickheads like
somebody will say Virtus Pro and somebody will say Epsilon.
yeah, like dickheads like our mate Freddie who are casting fucking Brazilian fucking part-time, not even part-timers in a CCT open qualifier for the open qualifier.
Yeah.
And it's it's tier 2 Brazil. No, it's not. No, it's just not. The Sharks, a Brazilian team. Yeah, that's tier 2 Brazil. Fluxo is tier 2 Brazil. Let's be sensible for a minute. VP probably tier 2 at the moment, but this is why I prefer the letters.
I do. I think it makes it's so much cleaner because tier 1 and tier 2. It's like when somebody calls somebody world class, you get an argument over what's world class. Just fucking. Do they get in a world 11 or not? That's the easier way of doing it.
That was the most mental argument. I'm not going back into that. Right. Yeah, but So we have 3 best of the best S tier elite teams.
Yeah.
The A tier is going to be what? Like
Eternal Fire, G2,
G2,
FaZe,
Eternal Fire,
MongolZ,
FaZe,
Falcons, FaZe.
So are Astralis in the A tier?
No, God, no.
Does BlameF put them into the A tier?
He puts them in the B tier.
So you'd say they're currently C tier?
Yeah. Honestly,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think them beating MongolZ might be the biggest upset of the year so far.
No, surely there's been another one.
I'm serious. I mean, maybe FlyQuest winning a map is a bigger upset, but
Yeah, okay. I'm down with that.
MongolZ
Right.
beating MongolZ are so much better. MongolZ are like the 4th, 5th best team in the world. Astralis are nowhere fucking near.
I do think we might have to start running that back.
Eventually, but I'm sticking with it now.
All right, let's move on to the other semi-final. Falcons beat FaZe 2-0, 13-11 on Dust 2, 13-6 on Ancient.
Now that is a statement win. Yeah. That is the sort of win you go, fair enough. FaZe in an arena. I know it's not the biggest arena. Like, do it in Cologne, I'm moved. Do it here, I'm impressed. Like, I'm like, okay, let's see what you got.
But I also think it's a statement defeat. because and I said this in the newsletter, right? And you said it about Eternal Fire and the MongolZ, that they're the ones that need to be winning this event or whatever. That's how I felt about FaZe. Because I don't see... I mean, it's FaZe, so they'll have like one bullshit tournament run every year. But that was meant to be this one, and the bullshit was meant to be that the 3 best teams in the world hadn't bothered to turn up, and they could establish themselves as the 4th best, but they ain't that. They ain't the 4th best team in the world. And I know we've said on previous episodes that it gets a bit muddled after those 3. But this loss means a lot more about FaZe than it does Falcons winning it, I feel.
See, I don't agree. I sort of agree. I mean, this is an arena game with an asterisk. It's an arena with an asterisk because there's no vital. Like, you're telling me Brokey really got out of bed and was excited to play in the PGL Cluj-Napoca Playoffs?
I don't think Brokey's ever gotten out of bed excited unless he was going to a casino.
Well, if he was going, no. When he's about to play in the Spodek or he's about to play in like the Cathedral of Counter-Strike, or like, he's a different beast. He was not a different beast in this game. He was a normal beast. He was a house dog.
And Falcons did this without like Tessez even playing well. Magis was only 1.03.
Yeah, I mean,
this FaZe team, genuinely, if Brokey keeps this up, he's got to go.
But he doesn't keep it up. He does this every year. Every year he's shit for 3 months, and they get to a big event, and he's unbelievably good.
This is bad by his standards, though.
Yeah, but he'll be MVP of the major or something. It doesn't matter.
I mean, fine.
I know that's ridiculous. I know it doesn't make any sense. But how many times do we have to write FaZe off for them just to like show up at an event and win?
Yeah.
I know it's different without Rob.
But I actually feel like because of Elige, and that's the wrong way of wording it. That sounds like I'm blaming Elige. I'm not blaming Elige. Elige was an incredible pickup. But because of what Elige's playstyle means to the team, and a complete shift, because what you had before is that, like, people have always spoke about FaZe as like, oh, they've got 4 stars or 3.5 stars, and like you have Rain at the front, and then Twist was like that glue that they kind of lost when Twist left. But Twist could also be passive, and Frozen can be passive, and Rop's passive, Brokey passive. You had a very back-heavy team.
Yeah.
Rather than, like Spirit that are exceedingly front-heavy because Donkey's just going to fucking kill everyone. And that is gone from FaZe, which I think actually does have an effect on Brokey, where he ain't... Sure, he's good in clutches by himself, but he's lost a partner in crime in Rops that, okay, he has Frozen, but there's still no Twist. Yeah. Like, I still think Twist, even if he was shit for a couple months occasionally, Twist was the most important player there because just the most specialist in the world at that time.
I've been glowing about Twist on this podcast in the last. I have him as one of the greatest players of all time. Like,
yeah.
Unbelievably good.
Like he could do something on FaZe that like maybe 2 or 3 other players in the world could do, and
I think I had Magisk and Mezzi as the only other 2 players who could do closer, and I had Mezzi as a tier below, but like Magisk Twists are in a world of their own.
I agree with that, and I do think at the time Hunter was worth mentioning. I think Hunter could
see
do
Hunter as quite the same.
No,
I was very, very high on Mezzi before the Vitality move. Said he's the only, like, one of the only players who's even similar to Magisk, and I think that's aged quite well. Actually,
it has. So I actually think this is now the time, and they'll go and win. Are they even playing at Pro League? They're not, are they? I don't know. Maybe they are. I don't care. It's Pro League.
I think they are.
They'll go and win it now, I've said this, but I think this is the time that because of the change of bringing in Liege and what it's meant for Rain, who hasn't been particularly good this year, Brokey's crap.
Brokey's always crap, and then he's just unbelievable.
This team feels to me like a roster move away from being able to do anything.
But the thing is, everything you say about the changing styles, and that's completely fair, and I think for most in-game leaders it would be an insurmountable task, but the fact they lost Twists and still they weren't quite as good, but they were still capable of doing these runs. Carrigan is the one in-game leader who I think can play multiple different styles to an elite level. I think every other in-game leader in the world can either play one style to an elite level or multiple styles to a good level. Some of them can't do either, but you know what I'm saying. Like, there are very, very few in-game leaders in history who can deal with different players and different styles in the way Carrigan does. Like, he's made superstars out of all different types of players.
I'll give you that, but I do think there's a point where, because FaZe have been playing in such a way for such a long time. Like, do you know what people say about like Foden and Guardiola, and what Foden will be like when Guardiola's gone, and how he's ruined Grealish and shit like that. Like, I feel like Brokey and the way FaZe play might be similar, and that if Carrigan has to adapt the system, because of now having a more aggressive actual star, where Rain was always maybe that 0.5, and changing it a bit more to get Rain more comfortable again. Like, is Brokey going to be able to do it? A back Frozen too?
Yeah, Frozen you feel can kind of do anything. It's a bit of a Swiss Army knife.
Can Brokey do that? Can Rain even adapt at this point? I don't know.
I understand, but I also think Brokey is in a very similar place of Wonderful right now, and I kind of think either there is a meta shift going on where these passive AWPers just don't work for anybody, but like they worked fine 6 months ago. Yes. I don't see any reason that would change completely. I understand that
Brokey's doing a lot worse than
Brokey
compared to Wonderful and other passive AWPers.
With Brokey, you keep him around because you know he has that level in him in big events. Whether or not FaZe can afford to do that is,
or whether they should. But
then I don't think there's that many AWPers around they can sign to replace him.
Not with his ceiling, no. But if you want to raise the floor, there's probably a couple. I'm always going to push Slend until it happens, because I do think Slend can actually be really, really good. And maybe he's really, really good. He's only ever going to be as good as Dexter's really, really good. But Dexter's pretty fucking solid.
Dexter
when he wants
is really
to be.
Good. I
don't think that's a problem.
I was just thinking if Falcons got rid of Dexter and when they signed MongoZ, that actually wouldn't be the worst pickup for FaZe.
I'd do it.
I was just trying to look as well.
No, I'd absolutely do that.
Yeah. Simple still available. Torzy, no. When MOUZ inevitably lose the Infat.
When MOUZ inevitably just sell half their team to FaZe.
I mean, Torzy, he's got a Z in his name. He's very FaZe-y.
As long as he makes it a capital, he can play. Right, I'm bored of talking about FaZe anyway. Oh shit,
Actually,
no, we've got to talk about them some more. Third place decider.
Not asked.
Not asked. Astralis won it. Right. The one thing I do want to say about the third place decider, I'd like to hear from. Well, there's two things I'd like to say about it. Right. One, I'd like to speak to Astralis about how much they cared because of the points and because of where they're at as a team, and what they've all won outside of Device. And then I'd like to have the same conversation with FaZe, because I bet you'd get wildly different answers.
Yeah.
The other thing I'd like to say is I love that they had a best of 3 show match, and the fucking first map was, what, 28-24? That's fucking brilliant. That's what you get. That's what you get for having a third place fucking decider.
I hate it. Like, it's like, oh yeah, but it actually matters now. It's like, that's worse. I don't want it to matter. It shouldn't matter. I don't want to have, like, I didn't watch it because I don't care about the third place player.
Look, if they have to happen, I'm glad that they slightly matter.
No,
I ain't gonna watch it. I ain't gonna watch it though.
I think they shouldn't matter. Even if they're gonna happen, they shouldn't matter.
Like, I have no idea if that first map of that series was one of them like deep overtimes where it's like, oh, this is a fucking giga banger, like the FaZe Ents one or Vitality Na'Vi.
I've not heard many people talk about it. I think it's at that level.
Or it was just crap and both teams were playing terribly and making a million mistakes.
I think it was probably half decent, but like, it's still Astralis, isn't it? Like, I don't know. I think all third place starters and all show matches are just bad. Like, it's just, and any system that
unless there's a reason for a show match, like, I don't care, and that reason should solely be like, Cash is back, guys. Here's the big reveal. Or some shit like that.
But I also think though, if they're gonna do that, it should be like old players. Like, make it like Brazil, like SK versus NIP. But they actually try. Like, I don't want to watch them piss about. I actually want to watch them try. I want to watch Fallen try.
But not like when it was Team Brazil versus Team Sweden, and Team Sweden just turned up for a laugh, and Brazil had been fucking hard pracking on Face It for 7 months before it.
Sweden should be pracking as well. That would be better.
Both of you. I've said for a while, like, I'd quite like it if, like, major show match was classic team versus classic team on the map they played each other the most on. And I don't mean CS2, man. I mean CSGO.
Yeah,
Give me a fucking Go show match between.
The problem is the game I really want to watch is FaZe versus SK, and FaZe are still going, so they just win. No, that's the game I want to watch.
Do you know what?
I love those games.
I'd take like OG Nip versus OG Fnatic. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be great.
I'd quite like that.
Cloud9 versus FaZe from Boston, please.
Yeah, that'd be great.
They don't even have to be from the same era. You could do 2018 Cloud9 versus 2015 Fnatic. I don't care.
Yeah. But when it's just like, oh, this team got grouped or this team got knocked out in playoffs and the players are still around. Can you come do the show match, please, lads? Please, we really need someone to... Fuck off.
Yeah.
Cancel the fucking thing. Right, the final, I day watch it. I were out. It was my cousin's birthday. MOUZ won it.
Yeah, comfortably as well.
Sorry, I don't have any more to say about it.
I mean, Exertion actually top fragging on stage. Huge.
Yeah. Exertion top frag on stage.
That is as good a sign. Well, for everything I've said about Brollan versus AZUWU, not ready to say sorry to Brollan yet. If you make Exertion not choke on stage, you're doing a hell of a job.
That is actually what I wanted to circle back to and say. If you've made Exertion not choke, fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah. You might be the best in-game leader ever.
That's a great sign that actually you can take this MOUZ to a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw a tweet earlier where it's like, haha, IGLs don't matter, firepower's the most important thing. Firepower is an exceedingly important thing. It is. And Spinks massively raises MOUZes. But when they come up against Na'Vi, Vitality, even FaZe, Spirit...
That's where you're going to get tested. I think Falcons, I think Kicks
and
legit.
Falcons, that's where Brollan's ability is going to matter. And that's where... You'll consider apologising to him.
That's where Electronic went wrong. Electronic at Na'Vi, it was like, It's like, oh no, he's actually like a fine in-game leader. It's like they came up against FaZe. It's like Carrigan was running rings around him.
Yeah.
Kicksan has run rings around some very good in-game leaders, and for Brollan to have a star player who famously doesn't do well on stage for him, and not get outcooled by Kicksan.
And look,
good signs.
Cadian's never managed it with stavn.
Yeah, well, nobody's managed it with stavn, to be fair.
So yeah, MOUZ won the event. Great for them. They would have been my 7th choice to win the event, probably 6th choice, something like that.
Maybe 5th.
FaZe,
Eternal Fire, Falcons, FaZe, MongolZ. Maybe Game Nation. Are they there?
No. Okay.
5th.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I was expecting them to be worse than Astralis. Like, I really thought this Brollan move was going to make them terrible.
No. Because even, like, if man for man, they're better than Astralis.
Fine, but that's why I was apologising to Brollan, because I had absolutely no faith in him.
Right.
And he's done...
No, I thought they were going to be... This was going to be, like, slightly downwards, maybe sideways, but with lower upside. I didn't think it was, like, that bad. Because Spinks is so good.
I thought off the cliff, man.
No. Spinks is so good that, like... It is a firepower upgrade.
It's a big firepower. I think I just forgot how good Spinks is. But,
Spinks is fucking wicked.
But do you know what, Elliot? We've spoke about this event now for about half an hour. And it was too shit to do that. So
but what else is there?
On. Oh, there's some funny things. BOROS has a new team. He's signed for JiJieHao, which means I'm never going to have to watch him play again. And all I'm going to have to do is put on a timer for when he gets kicked.
We love Boros in this house.
I don't. I think he's fucking rubbish.
I think he's great. I think he was actually the best player on Falcons when he was there.
No, mate, I think he took a year off Snappy's career. If he hadn't changed his fucking mouse... If he hadn't changed his mouse, none of that shit would have happened. He ruined it.
You know that's not true.
I don't care.
That team was shit with or without Boros, and he was actually one of the main
playoffs at Katowice.
Did they?
Yeah.
Fine. That team was still dog shit with or without him, and
because he broke their mental. It was all his fault. Anyway, moving on.
Absolute nonsense.
You told me you have a take of the week prepared, so please.
Yes. This is. You might have seen this, but I haven't told you what it is. This is a quote from Tina of Heroic fame on the difference between the two teams he's played for. Here, if some shit happens in Prac, they smile and tell you to chill and discuss after the game. In Gun 5, they would have said, "Stupid fuck, what are you doing?"
It's good, isn't it?
It's a great quote. It's a fantastic quote.
I love how all these type of teams communicate, though. Because I remember we were stood there. It was Blast London. We were waiting for a Spirit game to finish. And it was just a few of us stood there. And we always go down to the match room when it gets to like 11, 12, whatever the score is. And I remember this instance was like 11-4, 12-4. And we're just waiting for it to finish. We can tell like 3 or 4 rounds have been played. And I remember like, all you can hear from Spirit is just bleat. That's all they're saying. And it's just in different tones. And someone was saying like, once you've done this enough, you can tell whether they're winning a round, have lost a round, or if someone really fucked up just by the tone of the bleat. And you actually can. Like, it's mad. Like, the way they communicate is just so funny. It's like all the old Na'Vi teams that just be screaming at each other.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
I mean, like, Zeus on Gambit, like, famously, that team was falling apart. I think that was largely because they just screamed at each other. Yeah. How the hell they want to make you have no idea. But yeah, this is great. Like, it's just like, he's amazed that somebody's like, tells you to chill and discuss if something goes wrong. In practice, by the way. This isn't during a game. This is in practice, and they're just saying, "You stupid fuck, what are you doing?" Because you like messed up a smoke or something. That's amazing. How do these teams? It's no wonder there's a new Russian team every week.
That's fine.
They can't deal with each other. They hate each other.
So the next story we have is Saw's new signings, because we alluded towards them last week. They're just kind of odd.
Yeah. I don't really know who JiJieHao is.
No, I don't either, other than the fact I think he sounds like a Pokemon.
Yeah, he does a bit.
AZUWU,
but like a bait, like he needs to evolve. I mean, AZUWU also sounds like a Pokemon. For what it's
he
worth.
does. Do you know what? I'm pretty sure CJot actually just evolves into Sudowoodo.
Yeah. CJot, Bonsly, Sudowoodo.
Yeah. He gets there. AZUWU, he's a fairy type. He doesn't evolve.
Yeah, he's a bit like Pachirisu. Yeah, or Dead End.
He's shit. No one wants him.
Yeah. This isn't
not good for anything.
This is actually nothing to do with his Counter-Strike stats.
Yeah.
It's naturally what we think.
So to be clear, Counter-Strike wise, I don't know anything about this CDrop kid, so I don't fucking care. This AZUWU move, I'm actually quite excited by. Like it's for a long time, like people have spoke about him as like after Endpoint got rid of a couple of guys, like AZUWU can be the next one off the AZUWU. Fuck me. AZUWU can be the next one off the Endpoint talent pipeline. There we go. He's a pretty fucking good player. And if this move clicks, which it is going to take some time for it to click, he can do really well. And Saw actually could be building a star. So, quite like that one.
I'm nowhere near as convinced. I'm just nowhere near as convinced.
Oh, okay.
No, I actually don't. I'm just gonna send it. He looks like somebody in a show I watched once, but it's too niche for me to even bring up, so I'm just not going to. I'm just going to send you a picture of it, and you can see if you agree. We'll put that on screen.
I'll send that to Mac. Still not going to read out his Twitter for the extra editing work he's having to do, but
it's from a Korean show I watched with my wife, and there's a guy called Dr. Ko in it, who's all of his hair looks like it grows from the middle out like a palm tree.
He does look like him.
He does look a bit like him,
and that's all we need to say about this team.
I have no idea. I'm told AZUWU is good from like people within the UK scene, but people within the UK scene have a very warped idea of what's good. So I don't believe them. So AZUWU might be good, but I don't believe.
In his defense, AZUWU does have a higher rating than any of those players that they will ever mention.
Yes, but
so we'll back him on that. Right, finally then. And I really ain't going to talk about this very long because I'm dreading it happening. But in 4 days, Pro League Season 21's play-in is going to begin.
Dreading it happening. Yeah, you do know you could just not watch.
Well, unfortunately, Elliot, we write a newsletter and we do a podcast. And I do actually have to be somewhat involved. But fuck me, this looks awful.
Right. I'm going to start with the positives. ESL Pro League is no longer like a month and a half of group stage. It's a Swiss system in both the play-in and the
normal. Are you also getting paid for it? Is that a positive?
No.
You're not even working ticker?
Not anymore. No. I did welcome letters for it, but I'm not doing ticker. However, I just like the Swiss system. I'm a Swiss system advocate. And anything that makes Pro League not last for a month and a half, I'm on board with.
Okay.
Start March the 1st, ends March the 16th. I can deal with that.
I am a Swiss system advocate as well, right? But I'd like you to know that this Swiss system involves MIBR, 3D Max, who might now be awful, FlyQuest, Saw's new team, Namiga, who are definitely online as fuck, a Tyloo team that is probably very the Tyloo team's fun.
No.
I thought one of the Chinese teams got bodied.
However, there is no Jamyoung, which does lower their source levels.
No, Jamyoung's on Tyloo.
He's not.
According to HLTV, he's on the roster for the event.
Yeah, he's not.
Oh,
it's I think it's Attacker who's playing.
Oh, that's fun. Good name. There is also House Bets and Mind Freak. So it's just utter bollocks, man. Like, I like Gamer Legion. I'll watch them. I'll watch their games.
Yeah,
Heroic,
Gamer Legion.
I'll give their games a watch. Eternal Fire are going to Frio. There's going to be no reason to watch their games. Maybe I'll watch M80 games. Maybe I'll watch NRG games. It's just like these teams. These are just teams that get knocked out of the next phase anyway. So why do I care?
Well, I'll watch Saw to see if AZUWU's any good. I'll watch Heroic because Heroic they're alright. M80 are alright. Linvision and Tyler are watchable.
I don't get why we have to do this Pro League shit twice a year still, man. At least it's closer to a league now.
Well,
it's not just a quadruple elimination bracket with 48 teams.
Yeah, so the reason I hated Pro League was because of the way the format before, whereas this is a lot better. This is a much more palatable format. I can deal with
it. It is better, but the teams fucking stink.
Yeah, but that's always good. Like, that's not ESL's fault.
Do we have arena playoffs this time?
It's in Stockholm.
It's in Stockholm,
so I don't know. Yeah, it is, but I don't know.
Because ESL have a studio in Stockholm, right?
Yeah, it might just be a studio one. I'm not sure.
Hang on! The Pro League prize pool is $1 million.
Yeah.
That's even worse than the fucking Cluj one being 1.25. It's fucking Pro League. It better not be in a studio. If there is $1 million event in a fucking studio when they're not contractually fucking required to be in a hotel lobby, Pro League angers me, man. I'm going to be in such a shitty mood the next 2 weeks on the podcast, and I hope everyone gets to enjoy that. I fucking hate Pro League.
This is a lot better. Like, this is a much better version of it.
Yes, it's better, but it's still bad. Who do we even have to look forward to in the fucking main stage? I think it might be a
studio, I'll be honest. Hang on.
Okay, at least FaZe, Spirit... Not FaZe, even... Na'Vi, Spirit and Vitality.
Oh, yeah. Like, the main stage has, like, good teams in
it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a studio. I'll be honest.
Do you know what the thing is, though? Right? And Pro League won't help this. And I'm probably just pushing a lot of this onto Pro League. I'm already just feeling a bit of the burnout of just going event to event.
It doesn't help that every event just feels identical. Like, every event just seems to have the same teams. Every event is going to be the same, like 8 teams. Like, the best 8 teams in the world now is not going to change before the major.
No, it won't. It won't. But it's like, I look at this, and it's Swiss, so it won't happen. But these 8 teams, that I assume it's an 8-team playoffs. It's an 8-team playoffs. Yeah. I look at these 8 teams here, and I'm like, all of these should probably be the playoff teams, and maybe Eternal Fire, and absolutely maybe Gamer Legion can sneak in over one or two of them. Over Liquid.
G2.
Yeah, but...
Gamer Legion have got a chance here.
Like,
Maybe Pain, honestly.
I fucking hate this system. I fucking hate Pro League.
Yeah, I hate the VRS system. I do not mind this Pro League format at all.
I hate that PGL came back.
Other than it not being in an arena.
We didn't need PGL to come back, man. We were fine with just ESL and Blast. Like, there was already too many bastard tournaments. Like, why couldn't we just add fucking Blast start doing 2 more tournaments a year, ESL do their normal bollocks, and we actually get a bit of time between events?
I mean, you know the reason for that.
No, I do know the reason for that, and it's shit. Because the thing is, as well, is like, with what happened at Cato, it would have been nicer if the top teams had skipped this and played Cluj.
Yeah.
But we can't have nice things because this is Counter-Strike. And
I don't know what to tell you. This Pro League format I have no problems with. My problem will always be the MIBR, FlyQuest, and bigger events.
Do you know what?
I wouldn't have an issue.
I wouldn't have an issue with it if they just renamed it. Just call it something else. Pro League needs to die. Conceptually, Pro League should die. But anyway, let's end the episode with predictions then. Let's do the 8 teams that go through from the play-in. Who have you got?
From the play-in, Eternal Fire, Pain, Gamer Legion, Heroic, NRG, Furia, 3D Max, M80.
Okay. I'm going to go M80, NRG. M80 NRG. That's 2. Heroic. Furia. Gamer Legion. Pain. Eternal Fire. That's 7, right?
I don't know. I wasn't counting.
Can I say one of?
You can.
So I'm not sure which one it'll be. One of Lin Vision or Ty Lee.
I think Lin Vision are much better, to be honest.
Yeah, I have no concept of which one's better. So I'm going to say
Lin Vision are like actually pretty decent to mess.
I'm gonna say one of them two wins a 2-3 game.
I think you got more chance of Lin Vision.
A 2-2 game even, not a 2-3 game.
Like Mercury and MOUZ on Ty Lue are like legitimately ridiculously talented, but neither of them have any idea how to play the game. Lin Vision have some idea how to play the game, but they're not as gifted.
Well, I guess we'll see how they do in a week's time.
Hopefully better than Flight.
Will we see how they do in a week's time if it starts in 4 days?
Finishes on March the 5th, so next Wednesday. So we'll have some idea if they're out by then.
We'll know close enough. Right, with that then, I've been Sam. My Twitter is @AnimoCS2 with a 1 instead of the I. He's Elliott @AZS. Probably know that by now. Mac and James do things. They've both got Twitters. They'll put them up on the screen.
One's Elon Musk and the other is real Donald Trump.
Yeah, it could be. I don't get that far in the video. I just tend to stare at myself for a while and then...
Yeah, I just open it so I can write the bullet points in the newsletter. That's it.
Yeah, funnily enough, it doesn't take me an hour to do what I'm doing when I'm watching this podcast. So, with that, we'll catch you in the next one. See you later.